Hey guys, it's Sam with Davenport Drone Graphics. So it is currently a very ugly day here in Kentucky. Very awful for flying drones, for photographing in general. We've got a winter weather advisory coming in. Pretty much, Kentucky's in a snowpocalypse, and the store shelves are going to be barren of all their bread and milk. So it's just a good day to not go anywhere. And I had a photo shoot earlier this week that I was wrapping up the edits for yesterday, and I thought I would make a video addressing one thing that I came across yesterday that I was having to fix. So this is a twilight shot of a house that was done in LaGrange, Kentucky, and it was on 12 acres and had a very large driveway. And this is the final product, or I'm still trying to tweak some things. Like, you can still see there's a little bit of graininess in the sky that I'd like to have fixed before they actually list on the MLS, if I can do that. However, one thing to note is that this is a driveway replacement that I did because the driveway was fairly dirty. We had some bad weather coming in through Kentucky over the last couple of weeks, and this is what it looked like beforehand. So there was tons of mud, dirt. It was just one of those things where it's like, if you look at it in the daylight, and the daylight shot, it really didn't stand out that much. But when we have that contrasting with all of the colors that come with the twilight shoot, it's really distracting. Like, your eyes are just sort of attracted to how filthy the driveway was. And that wasn't, it was just one of those things where it's just like, you get there and it's like, okay, so we've had some, probably some mud washing in, people, coming in with their cars. And I think they had some renovations done, so there were probably people driving off the road and whatnot, or off the driveway rather. But whatever it was, just the driveway is just not in very good condition at the moment. So looking at this, it's like, yeah, the twilight composition and colors all look fine, but what are we going to do about the driveway? We gotta have this fixed. And this is for a brand new client, and it's like, I want to have a really good impression, and it's like, we can do better. So let's hop into Lightroom, and I will show you how I turned this into this. So we pull up Lightroom, and immediately we're like, okay, so we're gonna have to do a driveway replacement here. And so this isn't going to be an extremely complicated video. If you follow any of the prominent real estate photographers on YouTube, like I do, layer masking is like the number one technique used for everything. So looking back at one of my previous shoots that I did early in January, this one was actually taken from the first shot that I did, the first shoot that I did in 2022. And this is a fairly wide road going into like a little neighborhood, fairly close to where I live in Louisville. And it had a very clean road that was going in. So immediately in my mind, I was like, well, I'm just looking through my catalog of previous work. Like, what can I use to sort of help me along with this? Because I did start Googling, are there textures that I can buy, like what's on Shutterstock? Are there any sort of default pictures? And I'm like, well, I bet you somewhere I took a picture where there's either a clean driveway or we're looking at just clean blacktop. And I remember shooting this, and I was like, there we go. Let's see if we can use this to help get us in the ballpark. So let's go ahead, and we have our our photo that we're going to use to help repair the driveway, and we have the original, like, these are the edited shots before the replacement. So what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and just highlight everything, and we are going to edit in Adobe Photoshop. All right. Flog those hamsters, Adobe. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to be able to extract the driveway from this photo, which isn't going to be too cumbersome. I mean, it's just going to be simply using the polygon lasso tool. And just a little side note, I have upgraded to using an actual like tablet monitor for my day-to-day use in editing, and it has been such a lifesaver because with a lot of flambient techniques and just maybe just fixing things in general, it uses a lot of brush strokes, and instead of just having to just go back and forth with my wrist, I can actually use more of a natural motion with the tablet. So if you use Photoshop as just a daily driver when it comes to editing, highly recommend looking into getting yourself a tablet, and I will post a link in the description of the tablet that I use. It has been an absolute lifesaver and serious upgrade to my workflow. So anyway, I'm just going to use the polygon tool, and I'm going to start making a rough selection of this pavement here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just making sure that I stay within the bounds of the pavement and grabbing pretty much all the blacktop. And I'm just going to go to new layer via copy, and we can turn the old layer off, and there we go. There's our pavement right there. Now that we have this, we're just going to Control C and copy this layer, and we're just going to go into our photo and paste it on top. So right away, we can see that we have a little bit of a problem in that the colors of the pavement don't match. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Camera Raw Filter, and we're just going to tone down the exposure and cool it down, because this driveway was taken during the daylight, and then the twilight photo was obviously closer to nightfall. So we're just going to lower the exposure to darken it a bit, and then we're just going to cool it off, like right around there. That should be pretty close. And then, like as you can see, that's a lot closer. That's a lot more in the ballpark of what we're looking for. So now we are simply going to take it and drag it on top. If you're hearing all the thuds in the background, that is that's our puppy running around trying to get Seraph's attention back there. So try as she might, Seraph does not want to play with her right now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our layer, and we're going to hit Alt and then drag this down to create a layer mask. And so what this is we have a black layer mask that's going to hide the layer that we had on top. And then we can use a white brush to just paint away what's on top to reveal what's underneath. But before we do that, let's go ahead and use our quick selection tool to select the driveway to keep us in the bounds, to help us draw within the lines. So, and we'll do this twice. Once to be on the left side and the right side of the flagpole here. So we're just gonna do a rough selection here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but mostly just to help us stay within the lines. And if we go over a little bit, we can always just paint. We can always just paint that layer mask back to hide it if we have too much. So now what we can do is we can go to our brush, and we can literally just start to paint away what's underneath. It also helps if you have the layer selected. So. And now we're just going to start painting away. And then you notice all of that dirt that was on the driveway just starts to disappear. And I leave a little bit there because I want it to look I still want it to look natural. There's going to be some natural weathering that occurs just either from the weather or, stuff that gets caked onto a driveway, and I want it to have a little bit more of a natural look instead of just looking absolutely clean and pristine like it's never been used, because we're simply just enhancing it a little bit. We don't want to convey something that isn't true, like it's a brand new driveway. So we got a little too overzealous over here. So we're just going to paint some of that back. Just by hitting the X, you can see over here, if you hit X, it'll toggle between the white brush and the dark brush. So we're just going to use our dark brush to sort of paint some of that layer mask back where we went too far into the grass over here. And there we go. That looks pretty good on that end. How are we looking over here? We still looking pretty good. Yep. Maybe paint some of this grass back where it got a little too dark. All right, there we go. And now we're just going to do the same thing over here. And again, instead of just removing the entire mask for this area, I like to brush it in just to keep a little bit of what was actually there underneath to create a more natural look. Because sometimes if it looks absolutely perfect, like it's brand new, it can look a little bit unnatural. So I like to keep a little bit of the actual look and feel of the driveway still there. So we're in our white brush, so we're going to be able to brush away our layer mask, make the brush a little bigger, and then, again, I do this all the time. I always forget that I have to have the layer selected for this to work. So, and then we just start painting away. And so you can see that it immediately just starts fixing this on top while still maintaining an accurate look to what was actually there. Just Control D to deselect, and then we'll come in and then we'll clean this up. See, we got a little bit of dark spot in the grass here. Fix that there. Make sure the flag is looking pretty good. So as you can see, we went from this to this in just a few short steps. And so we can just save that and it'll go back into Lightroom. And I just wanted to make a little quick video on that because it was really important that for the first impression, just be like, you know, I'm not really happy with how that looks, and I'm going to, you know, go the extra mile to just make sure that, you know, you're going to be happy with this photo, because it was just so distracting to just look at a driveway, and it's you know, there wasn't really anything that could have been done. If we had a rain, all of that debris probably would have been washed off, but you know, you just get on site and you got to work with what you got, and then you can fix it in post-processing. And little things like that, it's like, I just like to do those complimentary, because it's like, if I'm not satisfied with the photo, I'm not going to turn it into you. But that's just it's just kind of it's a bad day to get out and photograph some stuff. And I thought I haven't made a video in a while, and thought I would just post this and just show how you can enhance a driveway like that. So I'm staying with Davenport Journal Graphics. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I plan to be doing a lot more stuff like this in the future, and hopefully I get a little bit better with videos and staying on topic. And thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.